Food on every plate. It's not much to ask. But not many Africans can take it for granted. Like millions of other farmers in Africa, Mary Rabalou and her family depend entirely on the food they can grow for themselves. And the challenges facing them are increasing every day. Growing populations mean the same land has to feed more mouths. But every year there's less of it for each farmer to cultivate. Farmers have to grow more food on the same plot year after year. No longer can they afford to leave the land in fallow as they used to do. This intensive cultivation leaves little chance for the soil to regain its fertility. And poor soils encourage the growth of Striga. The flowers are pretty, but it's a uniquely destructive weed. As the land becomes less fertile, the Striga grows more and the crop produces less. It's a vicious cycle that draws farmers into a downward spiral of hunger and poverty. But there are ways to break the cycle. This is a story of how farmers in Africa are working with researchers to build better lives for themselves and their families. In Ankwa village in northern Nigeria, farmers are learning more about Striga. They have always known that Striga, or witchweed as they call it, is a curse on their crops. Now, by learning about Striga's life cycle, they are gaining the knowledge to break the spell. The first thing they understand is that Striga has seeds so small they are harvested with the crop, contaminating next season's seeds. Unless the farmers clean their seeds before the next planting, the weed is also sown, joining other Striga seeds lying dormant in the soil. At the International Institute of Tropical Agriculture, or IITA, in Nigeria, soil samples from nearby farms are being screened for Striga infestation. 1 kilogram of soil in this sample may hold several hundred seeds.
Striga seeds are so small that you can hardly see them with your naked eyes. And in most cases, farmers have their host crop seeds, in this case maize, contaminated with Striga seeds. The Striga seeds on its own will not germinate until it gets in contact with a chemical stimulus, which could be produced by the maize crop. And once it attaches itself to the root of the maize, it withdraws all its food and water from the maize. 4 to 6 weeks after the attachment of Striga to the maize crop, it emerges above ground, supposed to be able to produce its own food, but is still dependent on the host crop as well. And a single Striga plant can produce between 50,000 seeds to 100,000 seeds. So you can imagine what you will get on your plot the next season if you have just a few seeds of Striga on your plot.
By investigating different aspects of this life cycle, we can help farmers develop a range of options to control the weed. This is known as Integrated Pest Management, or IPM approach, to weed control.
There's no silver bullet, there's no magic bullet for dealing with Striga. Remember again the extreme adaptability of this parasite. It genetically is very heterogeneous. It's extremely well adapted to its environments. It's extremely capable of adapting to changes in that environment. This includes control approaches. And so if we don't take an integrated approach, we're not going to be able to come up with a durable, lasting control.
I think it just makes sense. If you attack something from only one side, you're not going to make as much of a dent in the problem as if you attack it from many sides and many angles. Also, I think another thing that IPM captures is the fact that you're not just thinking about a variety. You're thinking about the whole soil system, the whole pest environment that's needed to grow a healthy crop. So you're trying to encourage farmers to do things that will make their crop production environment more productive.
Successful IPM depends on collaboration. No single organisation can solve the problem. Knowing this, scientists of different disciplines, working in different places, have joined hands across Africa. Together they are helping farmers fight Striga. Each team contributes its own piece to the puzzle. This is the International Crops Research Institute for Semi-Arid Tropics, ICRISAT, in Mali. Plant breeders here are trying to find ways to control Striga in sorghum. First, they look for resistance to Striga from their worldwide seed collection of sorghum types. Once they've chosen resistant sorghum plants, they breed them together with varieties that are well adapted to the local environment.
The farmers are providing us with this range of germplasm, but also with information of their systems, of the strategies they are following, and what new needs are developing that are not being met by the current varieties that they have. And what would be the opportunities that we, with access to germplasm from all over the world, with access to techniques, laboratory techniques and quantitative genetic techniques, that we can utilize this genetic variability to bring something back that would fit into their system, that would be a contribution in addition to the materials that they already have.
Bozu Alu is one of the farmers benefiting from ICRISAT's improved varieties.
Danfran bo ni ñonté parce que on ba kele chomina oni awye mu nya fanyana danfran ba ni ñonté parce que ambe awbe famrun damani nabo ke ka afurake vraiment nafa min bala ani anta ma boli ou bien chenali a descendre ke jang te keleni to shila ay tan nafa ga boke sama antanga.
In Abuja, Nigeria, farmers have also seen the benefits of Striga-resistant varieties. In this field, farmers are comparing the different kinds of maize available and choosing the ones they like best. Resistant varieties give farmers a fighting chance in battling Striga, but plant breeding alone will not solve the problem.
We wouldn't want a farmer just to rely on one tool to combat the problem. It happens that Striga is favored by poor fertility conditions. So one of the very important things that we would urge farmers to do is to try to maintain the fertility of their fields. This can be done with inorganic fertilizer, but it can also be done with rotation with grain legumes that fix nitrogen and improve soil fertility.
Last year we planted in one part of the Striga plot control demo, we plant soybeans last year. This year we plant a maize. So the difference is now is completely clear. The place where we plant soybeans last year and then we plant a maize this year, the maize now is very good yield.
Conventionally, legume crops have been seen as a tool to improve soil fertility. This is important in the context of integrated Striga control, but it is not the whole story. If you choose the right legume crop, and indeed if you choose the right legume variety of that crop, you can find rotations that actively deplete the Striga seed bank of the soil. However, the best crop to use depends on the locality. This is partly because farmers in different locations may want to use different legume crops, and it's partly because Striga differs from place to place. We have been working with farmers in Mahuta village now since 2 years. Initially, we asked farmers about their crops, how they grow them, what benefits they expect of these crops in terms of food and income. And then later on, we went through a process where we, together with farmers, identified major production constraints these farmers face. And the outcome of this was that farmers clearly identified that Striga is one of the main problems here in this village. We then went back to the village fields and collected Striga seeds here from Mahuta village, which was then tested together with promising legume cultivars in a very simple laboratory assay.
The best legumes to use act as trap crops for the Striga. Their roots produce chemicals that stimulate the Striga seeds to germinate. But the legume itself isn't a good host, so the Striga seedling dies. Scientists call this suicidal germination. These legumes don't just control Striga, they also provide farmers an additional source of income.
Small-scale farmers usually have a very short investment horizon, and that means they need an immediate return on their investment. In our case here, the use of grain legumes in this rotation provides exactly that. We have the grain produced from these grain legumes in the first year, and this grain therefore provides the immediate short-term incentive and the short-term benefit for farmers to take up this new technology. So this short-term benefit, combined with farmers' need to solve the Striga problem, really provides an entry point to improve the productivity of the whole system.
In Kenya, scientists from the International Centre of Insect Physiology and Ecology, ICIPE, have found a different way to manage Striga. They've chosen a plant called Desmodium, a crop normally grown as high-quality cattle food. Instead of planting it as a rotation crop, grown in alternate seasons with the cereal, the Desmodium is planted as an intercrop between the rows of maize. In this greenhouse, experiments show the difference between maize plants grown with Desmodium and those without. The results are astounding. Back in the lab, ECP scientists are trying to identify the chemicals behind the almost magical effects of Desmodium on Striga. Detailed research like this also helped ECP scientists to discover another unexpected property of Desmodium. It helps to discourage stem borers, another serious insect pest of maize in the region. By planting Desmodium together with the fodder grass attractive to stem borers, farmers can have a truly integrated pest control strategy.
Okay, apart from Desmodium controlling Striga weed, it also produces some chemical which pushes away the stem borer insect, which damages the maize crop. The stem borer insects which are pushed away out of this field are attracted to a fodder grass which is planted around the maize plantation.
This system has an added benefit of providing high-quality cattle feed from both the Desmodium and the fodder grass. In Kenya's Lambwe Valley, this allows farmers to raise highly productive dairy cattle for the first time.
Now I can get a lot of milk. I can get I can buy some napier grass to other farmers. That means I'm making money from that program. I will sell also Desmodium seeds in future. I know in December I will harvest, and a kilo of Desmodium is about 1,200.
Farmers like Mrs. Adamolu are winning their battle with Striga, but many more still need to be reached. To win the war against this parasite and the many other crop pests and diseases of Africa, researchers and farmers need to work together.
IPM is about empowering farmers to become better managers of their crops. We are empowering the farmers by helping them to understand the basic ecology of their crops the interactions between the different crops that they are planting, interactions between insects, weeds, and diseases. However, to get through this, to achieve this, it requires scientists, extensionists, and the farmers to come together, make the field be the primary learning material, and the crop the best teacher.
Farmers need to be encouraged to become researchers in their own right. Mr. Lawrence Odek is a farmer working with ICIPE in Kenya. He's benefiting from a farmer-centred IPM approach and has started doing his own experiments with what crops to use and how to plant them.
Now, after getting an idea from the push pull of a 10 by 10, I extend this one. This is my own one. I intercrop it with Desmodium. And I have two types of varieties here and two types of Desmodium here. I try it with the different varieties because those ones I was, the one which is administration plot was trying with the new varieties, and I see it is doing better. So I was not really satisfied. I say, okay, fine. Let me also try with my own variety, the local one, so that I see the different. Might be the Desmodium is doing good with the new variety, and when we bring it to a local variety, it's not doing well. So this is why I try this one, so to see that my local variety and I compare with the new variety, how they compete when I intercrop with the Desmodium. With the Desmodium. It's good to go a step, not to stay at one place. So this is my step now.
So the farmers are also seeing themselves as researchers, not just as farmers. And they are also seeing themselves as extensionists, not just farmers. So you find them very much interested because he's a farmer, he's a extensionist, he's a researcher.
Even when the scientists come here, we work together. So we are just the same. I can't see any difference. So I can work with scientists. When they are doing the research, I can work with them.
Collaboration and the use of IPM are already bringing results to farmers' fields. But this is not where it ends. To produce more food, research has to continue.
Africa needs to produce enough food to meet the current demand and its growing population. However, those who think research is not important, I think most of the technologies which are developed in agriculture have been direct impact on farmers' food production at farm level. So we cannot stop research and hope in future we shall have food production which increases. So this technology transfer, technology development, and even basic research, they all need to be coordinated to make sure there is a flow of technology coming from research ending up at farmers level.
Koro kotim research mofweny gimomiyo gini kethore, eka inyalo yudi yo minyalo konygo gini. Koro an aneno ni jo research to onego dhi adhiya mbele nikech samoro nitie gima kethore to kapok otimne research mondo oyud gimomiyo kethore gi kaka inyalo konye, to be samoro gino ok bi konyore kata ka joma moko go tiyo.
IPM research used to be about studying pests and devising new ways of controlling them. Now the focus is on farmers and scientists working together to understand farm ecology. With this understanding, we can grow more productive crops in a healthy environment. By combining laboratory science and farmers' knowledge, we can cope better with the complex human and environmental problems facing us. Farmers have always been researchers and innovators. Through novel approaches and new partnerships, we can speed up this process of innovation and adoption. Because above all, IPM is about helping farmers to help themselves.
If this program would not be there, some of my children would not have gone to school. But now they are going to school because of this program. I can sell the napier grass, I can sell Desmodium, I can sell milk just because of this program. So this program has helped me a lot.